Hi, my name is Richard. I'm going to be talking today about how to spill your contracts and agreements and license data into our existing placeholder layouts. And I'll give you an example of how that's done. I think what we'll do is we'll start with licenses. And we'll just click this button here. Click the license button in home base. Will take you over to the license database. So what we're going to do, let's just do the sync license, for example, and this will give you an idea. This is your data entry screen. I'm going to take you over to one of the licenses. It looks like this in the browse mode. And it's My Heart Belongs to You, Beatles. It's some of our sample data by Chris B. Songwriter and John B. Gold. Now, what we're going to do, I need to explain to you how to bring your data in. The easiest way would be to leave this data at the top, rather than you could pour your whole text in there, but then you're going to have to figure out how to get all this data in properly, and you're going to have to massage that. So this is just boilerplate here. It just says the date, the various companies, the name of the song, who it's by, and then here's the song name. So what I'm going to do is start around number 3 where all the terms are. What I suggest you do is you get your contract and you put it in this format as closely as possible. You could print out one of these and just hit your print. Just hit file print. Click current record and print out this contract, and you'll have a sample. And all the underlined places are where the data fields are, and I'll show you those in a second. I'm going to go to View and choose the Layout mode. Normally you won't be in the Layout mode because that's where we design the product for you. But in this situation, in order to spill your data in, you have to go to the Layout mode to do it. When you click Layout, you'll get it like this. If it comes in with a grid on, you probably should turn it off. So to do that, let's say it's on, go to Grid, Show Grid, and uncheck it. And that way it's a little easier to see. There's a little button down here at the bottom left, show your toolbar. And so if that's not there, then find in your FileMaker Pro manual how to select your toolbar, which is right here. And we're going to work on like 3 through 8 here. All right. Now, when I go to Layout, you can see the field names. Now, that bring in the data for you. So all the data is spilled in here. So this is the license territory. You notice it has a less than sign and a greater than sign on both sides of it. When you bring a text field in, when you insert like merge text, to get these, you can insert merge text. I'm sorry, insert, not view, a merge field. And what that does is over here, it gives you a list of all the fields. Now, the reason we put them in there is because you're not going to know what the field names are exactly. So you're not going to know what field out of all these brings in the correct data. And therefore, I don't want you to just delete this and start with your own form. If you do that, you're going to have to be responsible for figuring out what brings your data in. And I don't believe that's going to be a very efficient way for you to design this. So whether you have to talk to your attorney or not, or just gather the information in all the sentences and group them, kind of like we've grouped them here, would be the easiest way. Or give a copy of this printout with the field names to your attorney so they can see how you'd like it structured. I mean, you could change the structure according to your attorney, but you'll need to write down all of these field names so that when you're in here, you can go to license territory, for example. Whoops, I'm going to undo. I moved something by accident. I'm going to go up and undo the move. And also, this is a good time to say you should have already backed up all your files. In case you make a bad mistake here, I would even make 2 copies of the folder, of the Songtracker folder, and to save all your files. That way you can go in here and just attack this thing, and if you really royally screw it up, you can just quit and start again. That's the worst that could happen that way. But if you don't back them up, you're kind of screwed. So you don't want that to happen to you. Okay, for example, I'm going to select this, license territory. I'm going to delete it. To insert that field, you could insert it anywhere into your text, but you got to know how to do it. License territory, that'll be in the L's, of course. So I'm going to scroll down here and locate that. There, license. Takes a while to find them if you do it this way. There it is, license territory. Because I chose insert merge text, it's going to merge the text into your document, which means if it hits the end of a margin, it'll spiral to the next line automatically, rather than if we just had a field laid in there. It formats everything for you, and you can bold the text and underline it like we've done here. So I'm going to click OK, and that's going to assign that right where we took it out. So it put it right back where I had it earlier. That's how we do it. Now, if you wanted to bold that, you could select it and go up and click bold. If you don't, just unclick it. It's really up to you and how you want your contracts to look. But merge text fields are very powerful. These right here, merge field. But you have to know what they are. So before you start deleting this stuff, really learn all these field names so that when you get back in here, this is in the license file only. Each file is going to have different field names for the appropriate fields that you want to bring in. You don't want to bring them in as boxes like these up at the top are boxes. You don't want to do that because the formatting gets screwed up. You want to bring them in as merge text. So you can go about it however you like, according to what your attorney gives you. If you can format it into this type of paragraph, it'll save you time as far as being able to bring it in. But I'll show you how that's done. I've made a database file of this information. See, most contracts are going to look like this, where you type in the data and stuff. So you're going to have to figure out, okay, what is this? So what you have to do is you get this from the attorney. You're going to have to come in here and copy paste it like this, a little bit at a time, if you want to keep the integrity of these fields. Now, again, once you know how to do this and you know what the field names are, you can put them anywhere. But in order to teach you how to do this, I'm going to do it this way. So this will be gone, and I'm going to copy paste a little at a time. So I copy paste that in. Let's say that's gone. Now I go back over to the Word document and I grab the next piece of text. I copy paste it, copy it, come back over here, paste it in there, and put a space after it so that it comes in looking good. So now I got a couple fields. I didn't delete these fields. My other choice would be to delete all this, and now I got to go back from the document I previously printed out and have all these fields. So there's different ways to go about this. For example, let's say I want to print this. I click current record, and I'm going to click print. So when that prints out, it's not going to print out like this with the field names. It's going to print out. It's going to print out with all your data as if you were in the browse. So it'll print out like this. It's going to print out like this with all your data in here. And that you don't want. So you could do one or two things. You could do what I did and paste a little bit at a time out of your documents till they line up with the fields we have. Or you could click on this, for example, and drag this, and drag this out to the other margin. Then you could spill your text in here by making a box and copy pasting your text into the box as needed. You probably have to move these down as needed. And then you could go through and you'd see where you need, okay, the rate is called the agreed licensing rate. For example, if you did it this way, I'm going to try to show you how it might look. Okay, here's your boxes. Now this will be a little easier because everything's in the right order, so it's going to be quicker. So I can look at this and go territory of licensed territory. So I'm going to click on my text tool and select this and choose insert merge field. And I know it's called licensed territory because I saved that. And it remembered it because we did it earlier. Put a comma after it because I had a comma there. All right. Now I go back to my Word document and I'm just comparing everything. Actually, I don't need to go back to this one anymore because I've copy pasted everything in. But say you just copy pasted your document in from your attorney, then you're going to have to go through and discern which of these are going to apply. Now, maybe he won't use 100% of these. He may have it written differently. But you'll have to figure out which of these you need. All right, so for the following number of profit, nonprofit status. So this box here is going to be profit, insert, merge field, profit, nonprofit. So we're looking for P, N-O-P, profit, nonprofit status. If I double click it, it brought that field in. Now, if I want it underlined on the actual I want to format it and I want to style it. I want to underline, go to style and underline, and you could bold or not bold here too under format, style bold or not, etc. Or you might not want it to be underlined. If you don't want it underlined, just undo that. Okay, so let's do it like that. For a period of how many uses, type of uses. Number of uses, okay? So first thing I do is I go to my text tool, I'm going to select the line and insert a merge field. Number of uses it's called. That's at the very top because it starts with a number sign. Double click it, brings that in. See, now I've already screwed it up. This should have been here, if you notice. So you're going to have to discern where to put that. And that could be through trial and error. I'm going to put a space there. And for a period of the date. Now, because I already got rid of the underline, it's good that I messed up because now I could show you how accurate you need to be. For a period of license, for a period of, now I'm going to do another insert merge field, period of license. Let's go to the P's, period of license. Click on that, click OK. It's going to insert it, and there it is. Put a space after that. So period of license, I'm going to want to bold that. So you select, it brings in these two carets on the front, you know, the less than or greater than sign. It does two of them on each side. And that's what tells you that it's a merge field. It's called a merge text field and allows all the formatting to be done and spirals, no matter how long the text is. If it was, 4 lines, it would just keep going. And so it makes your document more of like a legal document. So that's why I use a merge field here. All right, period of license. We got that. Let's do an underline. Format it. Let's underline that, for example, so you can see what's brought in. And let's go down from the date hereof to synchronize. Okay, our next one's broadcast. Broadcast how? So how are you agreeing that this sync license will be broadcast? Is it a movie? All right, so I'm going to hit a space here and then choose it. Insert merge field, and it should be called broadcast how. So that's going to be near the top. There it is, broadcast how. These are the field names that are in here. So we just brought it in, but not otherwise, but including any advertisements for the program. We have nothing. Here in connection, additional license terms. Okay. So if this is where you decide to put additional license terms, you do another merge field, and you're looking for a field called additional license terms right there. Choose OK. And that way, now we'll go to the browse mode so you can see this first paragraph. This part is not finished. But if you go to browse, forever is the period from the date hereof through broadcast over public airways. I think that's what we filled in. Period of license through broadcast. How are you broadcasting? That's what it was. And then additional license terms at the bottom. Okay, so there are no additional licenses, terms, so it didn't bring in anything else. But had we typed in the field for this, it would have added them right there. So you could add a paragraph if you want to and customize it using that merge field. All right, now number 4. In exchange for the foregoing grants of rights, producer shall pay. We're looking for the agreed licensing rate and terms. Now we've got a $sign there. If it's pounds or some other symbol, you can change that. But I'm going to choose Insert Merge Field. I'm looking for a field called Agreed Licensing Rate. And there it is. Not the sum. That's a summary of it. You want the one that says Agreed Licensing Rate. It's important that you have the correct. And then we're also going to have Agreed Licensing Rate and terms after that. So we're looking for another Insert Merge Field. We're looking for one called Terms, and there it is. I could double click it. The next one here would be our copy shall be. Also, let's see, that'll be Insert Merge Field. Looking for our copy shall be. There it is. That puts it there. At the very end here, screen credit shall read. Merge field. Choose that and screen. Screen credit shall read. Click on that. Click OK. It brings it in. Now if we go back to View, Browse, you see it brings in all the information. So you're going to have to determine how you want this to read, of course. You're going to have to decide and which fields you need. I've given you a complete array of fields here to work with. So it's just important that you write them down or drag it to the side, or you could replace, a little bit at a time if you wanted, using what we already have. It just depends how you want to structure it. But don't come in and just start deleting things, or you're not going to know what to put where. That's the key point. Going back to layout again. All right, now we're on number 5. This doesn't really have anything. 6 doesn't. 7, we have set up your company state. Okay, so state of, I think you're getting the idea now. Get my text tool. I'm going to select this part here. And I want to make sure I get the right field. So it's set up underscore your company number state. This is good because you need to, when it says set up underscore, that's talking about a different file. So watch. In order to bring this, whoops, I went to the wrong place. Merge field. It says setup first. So setup is not in this file. We actually have a setup relationship, and you'll have to find that for the setup file. See, setup your company number. And now I'm clicking cancel. If that comes up asking for budget, just go set up your company number. And now we look for the company, the state. So you have to know this is a relational database. And so it's looking for the state name, but it was in a different file. There's the one state. So you click on that and watch when it brings it in. It says set up your company number state. See the 2 colons? The actual field name is state, but it's in a different relationship, or it's in a different file is where this field is. So we went and grabbed it. We'll do that one more time. Merge field. We went up and then we go back to the current table, which means the current file, licenses. But in this situation, we were looking for data that was somewhere else in the system, in the database. So in order to get the state name, I had to go to set up your company number. So if there's information before the colons, that's telling me that if there's 2 colons in there, it's telling me it's a different relationship. These are all relationships that take you to other files. And we always name the first word is the name of the file. So it's easy to find. Set up your company number, and there it is, state. Click on it, and it brings it in. So in that situation, it's a little trickier. So you're going to have to look for that. If you can't find the field, if you see 2 colons in there, that's an indicator that this is from a foreign file, a different file, I should say. So one more time. To insert the correct field, you still do merge text, but instead of being in the current table or current file called licenses, which is right there, and there is no state, you wouldn't get the correct information. So in order to grab that data, I had to go to a different file, setup file, underscore. See, we always put an underscore after the file name. We always start these relationships with the file name. And then there's an underscore character. So you'll recognize that. And you'll see the 2 colons. And that tells you, oh, it's not in this file, but it can be gotten from here. So it can be attained. So we went to set up your company number, which showed us the fields in a different database. It's your setup file. So here we look for state. And there it is. You click on it and boom, brings it in. So that's how you have to do this. So it's not that difficult once you understand what you're doing. In the county of, okay. Now the county of is also going to be in the setup file. Let's see. Yeah, because the county's over the setup your company number, colon. So that's the field you want. So again, we're going to have to go up and grab the setup file. It's still set because we just used it. Now we're looking for a field called county. Oh, I'm sorry, your company county. Forgive me. Your company country. Your company county. There it is. So if you need that kind of detail in your contract, it's there, but you have to see where we got it from. So click OK. It brings it in. We got one more in the state of, it's going to be the same thing. So you could actually copy paste this if you want, or you could go back and insert it. Either way, it's going to work. I believe. Let's see. In the state of, yeah. Good. It all worked. County of Victoria in the state of Massachusetts, for example. Okay, so there's all your data. So we've spilled it in a little bit at a time. Now that we've got that, you're going to want to delete this old one. Or you could leave it there. It's not going to print. If you want to leave it over here, it's still giving you extra, all this information at the bottom. Notice these fields. I'm going to get rid of that field. I'm going to delete that over there on the right side. Because this is off the margin, so therefore it's not going to show. So you might just leave it there. That way you've got our original information there that you can pull from if something's messed up later. Now all this has to be pulled in. So I would copy paste this over here, make a box, get in the text tool, drag a large box. I think you might be able to just, yeah, there you go, paste it in there. And then you have to drag the signature fields. Now, what's happening now, this is good that this happened, because this is on top of this, so you have to send this to back. Under the Arrange menu, send to back. Now you can click these and move them. There's layers here, so there you go. So the simpler you can make this, the better. It's really up to you how you want to structure it. Speak to your attorney or your legal advisor and show him the forms, maybe print these out and say, this is what we're dealing with. I need to format this to work with our software. Can you write our licenses up to go with this format, but yet use your language, because you want it to be according to your lawyer. All right. It's really up to you how you decide to do that, but that is how you paste it in there. You could get it from a Word document and then pull those in. It's best to have the lines so you know you're going to need information, but you're going to have to know what each of these fill in the blanks are so you know which of the fields to use. That's the key. Now, once you know all that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of time. And you set these up once, and then you're in the browse mode. They fill in automatically, which is really nice, because whenever you fill in this information here, we shall supply a stereo digital audio file. Broadcast how? You could type this in or choose it from the pop-up menu over public airwaves and internet. And then when you go over public airwaves and internet, so we go over here and it'll put that in there. It goes and internet. So it knows what to put in information-wise according to how you type it in or choose from the pop-up menu. Just play around with it. That's the best way. Just play around with it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Use a backup copy. Start entering your data, and then you can go over and check your sync license. Same with your other licenses. Mechanical license, for example. It all works the same way. In each file, there's like 4 license files that relate to licensing. Over in your catalog, I believe we've given you a placeholder for a songwriter contract, I believe it is. Let's see. Yeah. Collaborator agreement, songwriter agreement, assignments. So you're going to have to figure out which of the data you want. Like here's merge text here, your company name, author name. So maybe you keep up to here, and then you could copy paste all this. Oops. If your data always stays the same for every agreement, you could just paste your agreement in here and then make sure you get this stuff at the bottom. This has to be in there. And then all the signatures. So you don't want to mess with this stuff at the end, or if you delete this and start over, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to figure out all this. If you want it to spill in automatically, then I'm not saying you want to use our forms. You just want to get rid of some of this and bring your data in here, unless there's some fields that are coming in. Doesn't look like there's a field here because I don't see any of those carets. So you could take out up to here, for example, and then you could copy paste from your word processor. And then if you have to change the formatting, you can change the point size, the fonts, and all that stuff to match. So that you could change any way you want, or you could just match ours is probably easiest. And check what ours is. Let's see, it's times 9 point. So that's really up to you. If you change it, you're going to change everything. But it's not so hard to really, the only thing that's hard is when you have a box. If you have a box field, these are all merge fields, so you could just select everything. And if you wanted to make it 10-point type, you just choose 10-point type. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to change all this at the same time. But you're also not going to be able to get as much on a single page. So it's really up to you how fine you want the type, so to speak. Okay. So to find all your different forms, you'll go to each file and you'll go View, go to Layout, and you'll see your form reports and agreements are all indented. So those are the ones that you may want to look at and see how you want them structured. Go to Browse, you could look at them. Whether you want to use our form for this, it's pretty straightforward. You could, or you could have your attorney look at that and maybe rewrite part of this paragraph, for example. And if that had to be rewritten, you go into Layout and you add a few words or sentences here, which may mean you have to move all of this down, all these boxes, which you can use your arrow keys and just like this, I'm using the arrow keys. I'm going to click No. And this is why you use a backup set of files for each contract. I would back up after each contract. If you get it successful, then you can move on. Go back it up again, make a copy of the folder, and go to your next agreement. Rather than try to do them all one day and all of a sudden you go, oh, I messed the last one up, I got to dump them all. That's too much work. So basically, you just look at these different agreements. And the ones that you're going to use that matter to you, then they're the ones you're going to have to spend some time on. Now, the good news is once you've got this done and put in, it's going to take some days to do this, to set it up right, because it's tedious and you have to look at everything and study it. So once you've got them done, if in the future you upgrade to a new file, new catalog file or new licenses file, it's going to be back to the original. But what you can do is rename the old one, call it Old Catalog, and save it. And you can open up both of them. You can open up the new catalog file and then go do a file open and go find the old catalog file that you saved, and you can copy paste between the two. You just go over here to this other file, you do a copy, you select it, and then you copy it. You come back over here, you select the same type, and you paste it back into here. So because you have all the field names are correct, they're not going to change. So you can upgrade between versions that way. So if your work is done once, you'll never have to redo it again. You may just have to copy paste the entire form. So you go into Layout, you select all, you delete it, Well, you'd have to unlock it first. You go up and unlock it. Delete it, makes a blank. And then you, from your old catalog, you copy paste it all. And you click up in the left corner here and you hit paste. And it brings it all in. Now, it didn't because I didn't do that. But basically, that's how you do it. You can't undo. Let's see, can you undo? Yeah, you could undo it. Good, you go back. If you make a mistake, use your undo or redo. Undo, unlock, for example. You remember where you did that? So that should give you the basics of how to create your legal documents. Talk to your lawyer, print these out, show it to them, let them rewrite it, or use the ones you've written, and do some redlining and figure out how you want it all structured. And then get it into a Word document, bring it up like I did, and have it next to it like that. And then you can work with it a little bit at a time until you just have it all pasted together. And then test. And once you have it done, then everything's automated and all your data gets entered from here. In other words, as you've entered the authors, it automatically knows to spill those authors in. If you enter amounts, it's going to bring all that in. It's just a matter of putting in your data, and that data appears inside your licenses. So like here, all these amounts are going to spill into your license. 0.091, if I hit a mechanical. There it is, 0.091. Now, we were playing around with this and changing it from dollars to pounds, but basically, however you have it set up, it will bring it in. All right. Hope that's helpful. Thank you.